Make a decision.
I'm going to do it my way.
Okay, do it your way. Jeez. Wow. Oh, wow. Oh, jeez.
I died. It was a Foot Ninja secret assassination.
I'm going to edit that out. Oh, my God, man.
I was trying really hard not to spit all over your game.
This is okay. Do you want to take a time out?
No.
Did I go out your nose?
I did. It's okay, I'm alive.
Don't worry, I'm going to cut that out.
I don't know, leave it in if it's funny.
No, it's not funny. Okay. That wasn't funny, that was scary.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Ready Steady Play. We're just going to sort of wind down our final thoughts here on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Shadows of the Past.
Yeah, we got it right. We learned it in the end. So this is the minis game we've just been playing. Mike and not Chris versus Ben.
Yay.
Yeah, I won in the end because I was the only one who lived.
Chris had to leave, so he's not going to be joining us for this, as you can see. But we'll fill in with the thoughts he probably had. Miniatures, yes.
Chris's miniatures thoughts. Well, Chris is big into minis. He is. It's true.
Mm.
And
dice.
And dice.
He likes his dice.
Mm-hmm. But Chris is the kind of guy that buys a game for minis.
Yeah.
Whereas I wouldn't do that.
Mm.
I just, I don't use them for anything other than the game they come with. I mean, the only reason I would use them for anything else would be like tabletop RPGs. I don't use them for that.
So what do you like about the game?
Well, I mean, I was trying to pinpoint what exactly it was for me, because the obvious comparison for us, I suppose, is to compare it to Conan, but obviously you compare it to any sort of one versus many miniatures game like Descent or
Imperial Assault.
Or the obvious Hero Quest.
Yeah, Imperial Assault as well.
Yeah, Imperial Assault. Well, that's just reskin Descent, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I don't know. But it felt a lot better to me than Conan. And I think part of it is the movement, I guess, feels a bit tighter.
Yeah, it's weirdly less restrictive. I feel like there's not so many, there's nothing that can really stop you moving until you get loads of minis or baddies around you, in which case you spend more movement to get away from them. But I like that kind of breakaway mechanic. It works a lot nicer than just...
Well, the boards are... But it's very grid-based as well. That's sort of what I was getting at with the this is a grid.
Yeah.
Whereas Conan it's also a grid, but it's... the spaces are a lot more based on the terrain and the map, right? Mm. Whereas in this, you throw down a couple of boards, they're almost all the same size, and
one mini per space as well.
It's one mini per space, whereas Conan, you just pile as many minis into a space as you want. Yeah, and this just felt tighter, and I mean, it's the same sort of thing as Imperial Assault does and Descent does, and all of that kind of thing. Whereas Conan's sort of movement and things, I don't know. I can't think of a game that looks like Conan. But I'm sure there are many.
Yeah. Yeah, where it's not really... It's a grid, but it's stretched out over terrain, yeah.
It's kind of a weird grid.
Well, this obviously didn't have that. And I think it worked better because it meant the sort of discrete spaces gave you that kind of tactical possibility space. And checking range and line of sight is so much easier with the grid, and I don't think once we faffed with line of sight rules.
No, that's true. Conan checking line of sight was a real pain.
Yeah, you had to say, is that line of sight? I'm not sure. It gave you places to measure between, but it was always so it's kind of on the edge. This is very concise.
We didn't use multi-level terrain in this particular match, but we have played with the multi-level terrain as well, and that was fine.
Yeah. And it's cool as well. I mean, great thing about this game is the fights feel really cinematic and dynamic.
Yeah, that moment where Raphael like jumped over someone and then like shurikened the other guy through him. Cool. Or like knocked him out and then shurikened the other guy. That was really cool.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of the thing that really like sets this game apart, I believe, than other games, is that the turtles can't just do a few things; they can do quite a bit of quite dynamic, cool.
And I think you have to work, actually. You have to really think about what the turtles are going to do, because obviously you're picking the dice at the start, and then you've got all these options based on what those dice are, but also based on your special abilities and where that's going to position you. Like having that jump ability with Raphael and then being able to do the shuriken thing, and actually having an ability... Well, I can't use two abilities in one turn, but having those dice results and stuff like that, it makes them very dynamic, and it gives you a lot of options and choices, especially being able to re-roll those action dice with the focus and then share them, and Leonardo can move them around. Leonardo can move around Raphael's dice even though he doesn't share them. It just gives you so many options, and you really need to think about them. And actually, I think that makes it scale really well with multiple players, because it gives you as a group something to sort of discuss and figure out. And it's actually helpful as well, because when you're controlling all the turtles yourself, it's very sort of easy to forget about their individual abilities and skills.
Yeah, when I played this as the turtles and controlling all of them, I actually preferred it from watching you guys, because there's less sort of room to argue. You're kind of like, right, we're doing this, and this is the plan. And
well, of course, it's always more efficient to be in charge of all of them. Yeah. And I think it's about what you get enjoyment from. Like, I like the cooperative banter, and it's always cool when someone comes up with a cool idea, and you're like, oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, and that definitely, this gives room to that, especially with the sharing dice mechanic. That's really nice. Until today, I was really unsure about playing as the bad guy, because I haven't really done it and enjoyed it. This is the first time I played it with the leaders, and I've got to say that's really set this game up, in my opinion, because the leaders make it far more interesting, and playing the leaders is actually really fun. A lot of these other games we've played, being the heroes is so cool, but in this, you kind of get your own little heroes to play with. They're not as sort of dynamic, but they can do stuff, and they have their ability.
I know, Alapex was really annoying.
Yeah, that was fun. Like, Alapex can like jump in and jump out and do it.
I mean, they both had a lot of character.
Yeah.
To sort of... I mean, I didn't know who they were from the show. I watched the cartoon as a kid, but I haven't read the comics at all. And I haven't seen any of the new movies. I don't even know if any of this stuff appears in that. But... I got the impression of the cat guy as a bruiser that kind of supports the team and has like minions that he sends in, and then when you get to him, he's like the tough guy. But then Alapex had a lot more of a sort of like the feel of someone who's kind of, a sort of a stealthy ninja type who darts in and darts out and does these big hits. But then, the minute Raphael shows up and throws a million shurikens at her, she just dies.
Yep, that happened. So, what else was cool? Yeah, I don't know. I guess I really rate this above all the one versus many games that we've played, and I don't think there's a one versus many game that I like more than this at the moment. Something to mention, obviously, this is the Kickstarter version of the box. I used to have the retail version. I upgraded to this, and I think that was definitely worth it, just because I liked it so much. So if you're interested in getting the game, you can try the retail version, then maybe look for a Kickstarter version.
Yeah, obviously you can't buy this version anymore, but none of the content we used in the playthrough
except the dice.
Except for the white attack dice are from the Kickstarter edition. We kept it all. And they are releasing quite a lot of the content. I mean, the 3 extra characters you can use, they're now coming out as expansions. April O'Neil has already come out, and she actually includes an additional scenario that you don't get in this edition. And I'm pretty sure they're going to release Casey Jones and Master Shredder as the additional 2 character packs. I mean, Casey Jones has already been announced. I don't know who that is. He's just sounds like a guy. He's another dude. But yeah. Are they releasing Michael Smith as an expansion pack? Mm-hmm. He's one of the characters. Michael Smith, he's like the Ultimate Warrior. Are you joking? I can't tell. He's a guy on the show, man. You've met him. Oh, yeah. I don't know his surname. It's just funny because Casey Jones is a really generic name. Okay, yeah. Anyway. That was my joke. Then I want Chris back. Come appreciate my humor. I'm funny, I promise. I swear to God.
Talk about your minis.
Oh yeah, so I mean, the minis are fine. I'm not like a miniatures guy. It takes a lot for me to paint a mini, although I'm not bad at it when I get around to it. It just takes me a long time and stuff. I'm not efficient. But I mean, you know, I can appreciate like a good mini. You know, I play X-Wing a lot. I love X-Wing. The miniatures are great. The miniatures in this, I guess, are fine. Like, I don't really have a lot of basis for comparison. They seem about level with Mansions of Madness, maybe not quite as good. Like these guys, they're obviously supposed to have eyes, and they don't. If you know how they look from the show or from the comics, they have these glass eyes. You can see it in all the art in the cars anyway. Yeah. And the miniatures, you just can't really see that at all on them. Here we go. He's coming in for his close-up. It's hard to focus on him. But there's that. But I think the one thing that I thought was pretty funny was like this guy here is very, very small. And then these guys are like the more generic. These guys aren't as good as the ninjas, right?
They're about the same.
They're about the same. Well, no, the gun guy, I don't know. Well, he is ranged. So then he's like huge compared to the ninja. I don't know if this is... No, that doesn't look better. But can you see how big this guy is compared to this ninja? And the ninja has more hit points. I mean, I guess that's because he's flipping around or whatever. But, like, he's huge. Look at the size of his head compared to that guy's head. And then, like, this guy's, like, roughly the same size as that guy. So, again, like, giant compared to the ninja. And I don't know if this is an art choice.
Those guys are, like, street thugs, so I guess they're bigger than ninjas.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. And then there's the other big guy. And again, like what this guy is huge, right? Like he's just like, but he's a badass. We haven't played with him. But the point is that they're all, I mean, I don't know I guess I'm getting at is that this scaling might bother you. It doesn't actually bother me. It doesn't inhibit my enjoyment of the game. And it actually has me wondering if this is a choice based on the art style of the show or the comic books. The game does come, the Kickstarter version comes with 2 separate versions of the Turtles, where one is like generic and one is like classic comic books.
Yeah, that's these are the classic ones, where they all have the same color
bandana.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Huh. Whereas the retail version only comes with one version of the Turtles, which is using this one, yeah, which has been painted, but they come unpainted. They're just green, like that kind of green. But the thing I was going to say was like, and then the other ones are bigger. The classic version are bigger, which has me thinking that the sculpts are very based on the art from the comic books, which I'm totally unfamiliar with. So maybe this, like, if you're into the comics, you're like, oh, that makes perfect sense. Whereas if you're not into the comics, or you don't know about that stuff, you might be finding yourself wondering how there's giant humans and tiny humans in this world simultaneously.
Cool. So, anything else about the mechanics? Is there anything you didn't like about the game?
Is there anything I didn't like? Or, I mean, I guess some of the colors for the terrain, like the difficult terrain and stuff on the map was a bit, like...
Hard to see,
hard to make out. Yeah. We had some trouble. There was some maps that have stairs printed on them, and it's hard to tell whether they're going up or down.
Oh, yeah. That whole thing.
But, you know, I mean, they're minor gripes. Functionally, I feel like the game works really well. Like you mentioned Breakaway earlier, where when you're moving past someone, you saw us doing this in the playthrough a lot. But there's no, like, attacks of opportunity or anything like that. You just lose movement points, which is a really sort of nice way. I mean, it's...
streamlined enough.
It's not like the most complicated game, but that's fine because it just feels like a really sort of quick and dirty, tight skirmish game.
Yeah.
And everything really fits into that. I think...
you only ever use 2 boards as well for the size of the map, so like it is really tight, it is really quick.
Every now and then there was a skill, like when Chris used that... weird skill that Leonardo had
coming through.
Yeah, where he's like, he does a sword attack that can hit like 3 guys in a row, and you're kind of like, what is that? Slice and dice, yeah. And you're like, what is happening here? I'm not sure. I mean, again, like that didn't bother me, but actually it was funny because he had to roll the attack 3 times, and that was funny because that kind of like, I was kind of like, why not just do it once? do like one. I mean, and maybe it's for balancing reasons or something.
Yeah.
But
it was you need to spend 3 separate focuses rather than.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it was for the focus tokens. So
re-rolls.
Yeah. But it was funny because he had to roll that 3 times. That actually threw into focus for me how tight the rest of the game is, because it was like, oh yeah, like that felt almost clunky in comparison to the rest of it because it's so tight.
Yeah.
But for balancing purposes.
I find it hard to really pick something that I don't like about it. I think in every...
pizza, the health point pizzas. They should have had like pepperoni numbers on them or something.
They are a bit fiddly. but they're cool. I mean...
Yeah, I have no complaints about the pizza being used as hit points.
But yeah, they maybe could have done something with the pepperonis, like you said, put a 5 on the 5 ones. But something else that I was saying before you interrupted me
with the pizza.
I forgot it. No, before the pizza, I was saying something about the.
Were you gonna say something about the cards?
No, just So coming away from a game and losing a game, you can always sort of tell why you lost, and it's not really to do with dice. There's always like a number of decisions that you've made that probably led to why you've lost the game. So, for example, in that last game, I noticed there was a good choke point in the middle. I didn't really notice until the end that just stacking a load of ninjas there would have probably won me the game. So I'm not really annoyed about losing because I sort of know...
Yeah, you can see where you went wrong.
I can see where I went wrong, and next time I can play.
I mean, that's a good sign.
Yeah, and I enjoyed losing that game because it was like, fair enough, I made some mistakes. It wasn't like, oh, these dice, I should be winning kind of moment. Something to say though is that it maybe something could have been done better with that in terms of balancing. Maybe I wouldn't know how to suggest implementing this, but if you had a mechanic so that if you were to realize a new strategy midway through the game, there was like a sort of
bit more scope.
Second wind.
Do you know? I think like a one-off thing that lets you move a bunch of troops around or something.
Yeah, like a once per game ability.
But maybe it has a price to use it or something.
Yeah, but So, or like if you're losing, like a catch-up mechanic, that's kind of what it.
Yeah, needs. if there's 20 ninjas in your dead pool,
Yeah, you can maybe get extra spawn space, but
or move a bunch of characters around.
But that would just make it longer, and I think it's kind of good without because it is quick and tight.
Well, because of the awaken mechanic, and you didn't see this because none of the turtles died in our game because I'm amazing at. Turtle tactics, but the turtles awaken just like you saw with Old Spice. So the only way to lose is to not accomplish your mission in time, right?
Yeah.
So really, all you're trying to do is delay us, and of course, knocking us down is a great way to delay us because then we have to roll dice trying to stand back up.
But there's 4 of you, so it's a little bit harder. I think it would have been better to just try and stop you with positioning.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I think
very specific.
I think if you knock people down, it's kind of like a nice additional thing.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, I felt like actually knocking down your leaders was more important because. Especially Old Hob because of the passive bonus to all the minions, and because you want to be swamping that objective with minions to buff its defense. If he came in there with like 20 minions at the end or 10 or whatever, even 5, that was a significant enough buff that I felt like knocking him out was more important.
I think if we played that same scenario again, I would have had an advantage, like much more as the leader. But that's kind of the point of the game, I think, and the. You sort of learn.
Well, absolutely, because nobody's going to come to this the first time and be like, "Oh, my first time playing TMNT, I really want to be the Foot Ninjas."
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Let's not be the turtles.
I love Ralph the Foot Ninja. I want to be him. And Clive the Street Thug. Let me play as Clive, please.
Oh, please, Clive.
So, that's sort of. So I think if you're going to reward someone for repeated plays, reward the evil guy, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Because then you can be like, well, this is my game. I'll be the villain, and you guys can be the ninjas.
Yeah, definitely. It does lend itself well to that. But I'm just so happy with this game. I really like it.
Yeah. Good. So I'd play this again.
Yeah, we'll probably try and play it right now.
How much is the retail version to buy?
About £50.
About
50 to 60.
for the retail.
Brand new, yeah.
I mean, that's not terrible.
It's not bad.
I would say that's slightly above a mid-range price. Anything less than 30 and it's cheap. 30 to 50 is sort of middle grounds. 50 plus is expensive.
But yeah, I think it's worth it for a miniatures game. And it's good. I mean, this at the moment, I would say this is the best out of all the 1v minis around at the moment. I think
and it's, again, like it's easy to get to the table. Yeah. I mean, I think the one thing actually that is the Turtles theme. I mean, it's quite a
niche.
It's a niche theme.
But it's understandable. I mean, even if you don't know, like, the series.
I mean, it's no more niche than Conan.
True.
Or, I mean...
Well, I mean, at least TMNT, like, if someone says to you, do you want to play TMNT? And they're like, oh, what's that? Well, it's about these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, then they're kind of going to know what it's going to be about.
Yeah, but nobody ever thinks of them as teenagers. That's the one prefix that it's like, what?
I always thought, my friends said, you know, they were like, come up for an idea for a new comic, and they thought, well, what are teenagers like into Google? And then it just came up with like, on images.
Well, I guarantee they didn't do that because Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was a thing before Google.
Okay, but
yeah, they thought like, what are the popular things? Oh, teenagers like other teenagers, right? And mutants and ninjas.
No. They typed in what are teenagers like because it's for teenagers, and then it came up with mutants, ninjas, and a cute picture of a turtle and loads of pizza. So like, okay, let's put these together, and that's.
I mean, I can believe that. And this is what we got, and it's still popular today.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been making remaking all the '90s stuff as big explosive CGI movies, but yeah, I mean, there's that. But I mean, I remember the cartoons, and I don't really know half of these characters are.
Yeah, Bebop and Rocksteady.
Also, Krang. Where's Krang? I guess he wasn't in Shadows of the Past, but I don't know what that is. Apparently it's an arc from the comic books.
I think it's one of the comic graphic novels called that. I don't know if it's related.
So I guess that had featured Alapex and Old Spice and didn't have Krang.
Old Hog.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna I made this joke. I'm sticking with it.
Okay, right.
Well, you know, I might switch it up, call him Old Navy once or twice.
Okay. So yeah, that's all I've got to say about this.
Very good. Yeah, I think that's more or less sums it up. This is the Shredder that comes in the retail version. We call him Disappointing Shredder.
Yeah.
Only the Kickstarter people get that joke. Sad. So, thanks very much for watching and coming on our Ninja Turtles adventure. We'll be back tomorrow with a whole different adventure, you know, going off to some other wonderful place.
Yay.
So, you know, be sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that. Come back and join us, you know. I hope you will. And we'll see you there.
See ya.